Marionett, Chapter 2, The Room. Eventually I got back to the castle of Repanadia, where I was able to throw away my slippery clothes and wash myself with warm water. While I was drying myself, I looked myself from the mirror. Mirror showed a familiar character which looked a bit strangely stretched. This person had a long, thin limbs, skinny middle body that had attached in the middle of the spine 4 white thin scarves, which lived their own life with the airstream. Face were slightly unnaturally slim and had sharp features. Eyes were blue, and in the middle of the forehead there was a turquoise gem that was embedded to the skin. Face were without tattoos except 5 small triangles that located under the eyes. Otherwise my whole body was decorated with abstract tattoos and with some scars that were come from the battles. A strange way I did consider myself as a beautiful, even though compared to my own home I was a bit odd looking. In the other hand, I had come to Centauri at a young age that I couldn't even barely remember how should I even look like. In my mind, Mauricio, Caleb and Madame had some sense of style when they did the transformation for me. I had seen so much worse fates while I was living in there. A common thing for all those transformations in here were pain and agony. No one newcomer could avoid that. I let my eyes wandering around my room, which anyone else had no business. At least without that I wouldn't found that out with my safety program spells. Naturally, this room did not belong to me like nothing else in here, but in my thoughts I did perceive that this room was my private sacred area in this place. Room's walls were covered with the light grey lime plaster. Floor was made from dark plank. The fireplace's border was sober decorated green marble, and on the north side wall there was one small window, and behind it were bars. The furnishing was almost as anemic as room's interior. Big heavy tone bed that was rounded with a heavy canopy curtains, a bathtub, a simple washstand with porcelain containers, a high heavy structured wooden wardrobe, and a roughly made writing desk, and with it paired a simple writing chair. Walls were attached with some candlesticks which, together with the fire, created a gloomy illumination to the room. A couple racks were spread here and there around the floor, and in the front of the fireplace was 2 pumpy high-back armchairs. And of course that full-length standing mirror from that I stared at myself right now. Oh yes, that mirror. Every now and then I got this enormous desire to hit it to pieces when I felt that I couldn't bear there anymore. Nevertheless, that desire of mine was eventually extinguished with that thought that I would like still be able to see myself from it, and with that got the certainty that I was really a physical living being. I took a couple times a really deep breath. That past horrible beating of the heart and head had luckily come down. Naturally, the one thing that made it easier for me was that the animals of Mythos or the dragons could not read my feelings and thoughts here inside of the castle of Repanadia. It had inserted with the secure program spells that had come from the data file based, which was creation of Celebros. So inside the castle of Repanadia I was safe from the danger of turning in the animal of Alior, but in the other hand, in here I was again at the mercy of the nobles and their nasty changing moods. Well, at least inside this castle I didn't have to watch out my thoughts, but what I was have to keep my eyes on peeled inside Repanadia were my facial expressions, gestures, the tone of my voice and words. In short, just about every physical act that I did there. Always when I was there, I felt like I would use a mask in front of my face that was designed to cover my true form, and it showed outside only that what would please to everyone else. Even though I had been there for ages and desensitized myself the best way I could, everything in here felt still so oppressive. When I forced myself to smile, I wanted to scream. When I laughed, I would like to only cry. I ate some bread that I had brought from the kitchen, and after that I went to my bed. Tomorrow I would be forced to spend the whole day wearing that described mask on, to give reports, entertaining, and who knows what else pointless work I would be forced to do. I would need all my strength for that. Luckily, I was so tired that I fell asleep almost immediately. Unfortunately, my dreams weren't just pouring black color, but rather they were filled with all those pictures that I had tried to avoid the best way I could in those past couple of days. My dreams replayed me our mission in Acadia. Tethered creatures, cursed spirits, and above all, unspeakable chaos. Once again, it was one of those missions that I would not like to have any part of, but in which I still was forced to participate. I didn't have what it takes to resist. Marionett had been an appropriate chosen name for me when I came here because that was what I felt to be in here. I was just a small part of this horrible system, where my part was just to be some kind of string-leaded theater puppet who didn't have, and the one who even shouldn't have, any kind of own will, thoughts, or emotions. Choosing my own name had been the last show of my own free will that was given to me. This was Marionett. Writer Sepia Kettu. Reader Laura Tohila.